Hi, can you please tell me your name?
Philip Daniels,
How old are you, Phil?
20.
And you attend Syracuse University?
I do.
What is your major or majors here at SU?
TV, radio, and film.
And that's in Newhouse, right?
Yes.
So, Phil, what do you like to do with your free time?
I like to make music.
And where are you from?
I'm from New York City,
Which part?
Manhattan.
Okay, can you please tell me what your inspiration for your music is?
I get a lot of inspiration. I have a very musical background. I played classical piano for like 16 years, and then I recently just started producing and rapping just because kind of music is in me.
Can you tell me about what exactly sparked your interest in wanting to make your own music?
Yeah, I would say my mom and dad wanted me to major in music, but I didn't want to be like a classical pianist, so I think just like producing and songwriting was a way for me to take that musical talent and put it into something that I was actually interested in. So that's kind of what gave me my inspiration.
How long have you been making your own music?
Probably close to like a year now.
Okay, so it started around the time that you came into college.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you ever collaborate with any other artists on campus or off of campus or back in the city?
Yeah, we have a collection called The Lab, so there's about 2 other rappers in that, and together we do a bunch of shows and stuff up here. I haven't branched out that much, but to try and keep the family close, but I definitely work with a couple people.
How did you go about forming the lab, and who are the other 2 people in your group?
Well, it was like, I think one of the first weekends, and I was making a beat, and 2 kids from my floor just came in and they started helping with the beat, and that's literally how the lab was formed, because ever since then we started making songs together and doing shows together, and we just started like, hey, we should call ourselves a lab, because it's like we're always just like cooking up and just making stuff. So that's kind of how it started.
What are the names of the other 2 members of your group?
Well, there's really 3, so I kind of lied. There's Keenan, the DJ, there's David, and there's Will.
Have you guys ever had any disputes, like arguing over like the direction that the music is going in, or like the certain beats or songs? And if so, how did you like surpass that and work through the arguments?
I don't know if we really had that many arguments. Like, I think especially Will and I went to high school together, so we're so close that we don't really fight that much, and if we do, it ends very quickly. But I think probably me branching off into like my own like solo act was kind of like the how do we keep the group together, and also like not like I'm Michael Jackson or something like that, but just like how do we
You're
manage
Beyonce
like both?
and they
Yeah,
next to each other.
but like just like how do we manage both and like keep the lab still running if like I'm the main producer in it, you know? Because it was like, oh, should I make songs with Will and I, or should I make a song for myself, or should I put Will on this track? So I think just managing and making sure everybody gets their shot is the hardest part.
How have you balanced like maintaining your own solo career and also still working with the lab and making sure that they feel included as well?
I think definitely around like college is a good place to have the lab, because like we can do college shows together. You know, Will has his fans, I have my fans. We all together just kind of, or it's like one big family, and that's better for like live shows to show like all of us as a group. So definitely I think it comes down to like Phil, like with Phil, like PhilTheArtist is my official name, but it's really like you kind of have to make your own music, and you kind of have to like establish your sound before you work with other people. So that's the hardest part. It's like, do I want to just be at a college level, or like do I want to go way further than that? So, yeah.
How did you go about finding your own sound and kind of finding yourself when you were establishing yourself as PhilTheArtist?
I met a girl named Bree last year, and she was really serious about music, and I wasn't really serious about it until like really this summer. So when I met her, we just like I started making a bunch of music just myself, and I was like, wait, if I have the capability to be like something, just like live a life that people dream of living, like why not just go for it? So that gave me so much inspiration, motivation, and I just started making just so much music by myself, and just like figuring out who Phil the Artist was, as opposed to like who the lab was as a group, because I can't think for other people. So as long as we're on the same page, we're fine.
So how do you go about producing your music, like the programs that you do, and kind of like, can you walk me through the process? And also, how do you decide if you're going to release the music or kind of just keep it to yourself?
Yeah, so let's see. Oh, the steps, that's hard. I have a keyboard, so I have this program called Logic, and I'll really just find like different sounds that work together and like different melodies, which is definitely helps from having played the piano for so long. And then I'll just kind of put some drums under it to give it like that, bass, and make sure that it's something that people could nod their heads to. And I really just play it for other people. Like, I just see if other people are nodding their heads to it, and if other people are moving to it, then you know that you have a sound that is good. If they're not and they don't like it, then you got to delete it and start from scratch, because that's how music works. Like, music is its own language, so it's kind of like, a mixture of everything. So what was the other part? I forgot the other part of the question.
Oh, and how do you decide if you're going to release the music you make or keep it to yourself, or what's like the differentiation between the two?
Yeah. I would say if the energy is right with like your whole team, like that's when the lab comes into effect. Cause like even if I'm putting out a song as Phil the Artist, I'll still play it for all of them. So if they're like, oh nah, you got to drop this track, you got to put this out, blah blah, I'll probably drop the track. It's definitely hard because since there's so many free platforms now, like with SoundCloud, I don't want to put too much on SoundCloud, so I have like 3 songs on SoundCloud now, and that's probably all I'll do for now. So I think it's just really up to you and like up to the energy at the moment. Like if you really feel like, you're gonna know if a track should be dropped or not. If you're not feeling it, don't drop it.
Do you also include like cover art and music videos with your songs? And if so, like, do you put that on any platforms, and how do you go about producing those things as well?
Yeah, I shot I reached out to a director, and he shot a music video for a song We Different that I put out in the summer. So he kind of came and just like in one day we just like took a car to like all the boroughs and just like shot this music video, and that was cool. And then what else was it called?
Also, just for clarification, was this music video with the lab or with just yourself as Phil the Artist?
It was Phil the Artist. I had one of the members of the lab, David, was in the video just because he showed up. But it was one of my songs that I have solo. But that was really cool, and I put it on YouTube, or he put it on his YouTube channel, so it got like a couple thousand views, which was more than, if I had put it out, it would have gotten. Yeah. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Now, what about the cover art for the songs that you put on SoundCloud?
Yeah, so there's a kid, David, the kid named David who's in the lab. Not this David. This kid. There's a kid named David Badu in the lab, and he does all the cover art. He's a visual artist, so I kind of have that. I'm kind of having that be his role, and kind of just doing all of my cover art. And just like any visuals that we have, he'll bring or like make come together, which is cool because then everybody has like a role.
How does what you're learning as a TRF major help you produce music and improve your skills as a performer?
I mean, I would say they relate or correlate with each other. Because like every movie that you watch has a soundtrack. So I definitely want to eventually go into writing the music for films, like when I'm older. So I think that I'm in a good place for that. And yeah.
Do you ever you mentioned earlier that you have some concerts and showcases with the lab and as Phil the Artist. Can you tell me about some of those and like the background, how you got involved with that?
Yeah, I mean, if you make music, you gotta perform it live. Like, you need people to hear your music, because if music's just about a feeling, then you gotta have people feel that energy in the room. So I think we, as a group, when people started to come up to us like, hey, we want to hear your songs and stuff like that, we started to reach out to some other kids that were already doing shows like, hey, could we open up for you? Could we do this and that? And they were like, yeah, sure, like, your music's dope. Like, and we just started doing performances like that. So that's really how it got started. You just reach out to the right people, say you want to perform, and they let you perform. And if they don't, oh well, then they stop.
So would you say that it's a lot about networking and kind of just using the connections you have in order to hit it big or get your music out to more people?
Yeah, no, definitely. especially on a college campus, people aren't really gonna jump on anything unless they see it has like some type of like numbers or something like that. So I think, like, especially for Phil the Artist, like I kind of moved towards like I wasn't really networking with that many people just because I wanted them to see like me working outside the campus, and for it to kind of come back to the campus as like, oh, this kid is actually doing stuff like that. So, and it's, since everything's competition, so there's always going to be another rapper, there's always going to be another band, and they're always going to want the spotlight instead of you. So you kind of just have to figure out a route and make everything about business as opposed to like personal.
Most definitely. And are you going to drop a mixtape anytime soon? And is there anything else that you want the audience to know about yourself as a person and the music that you're producing?
Yeah, definitely stay tuned. January 2nd, I'm going to drop a mixtape with Hot 97. So after that, things should be very alliteration. So definitely stay tuned for that. I'll probably move pretty low-key until then, but I'll definitely be dropping something soon.
Thank you so much for letting me interview you, Phil. Have a great day.
You're welcome.